Imagine finishing a 9-hour day of classes and screen time with your soda tight, your eyes strained, and your mind too foggy to focus on anything else. And the very last thing you want to do is put those unnecessary workouts. Most of us spend all day sitting in front of the screen TV, whether in class, at work, or just scrolling our phone. And that considered constant sitting is quietly wearing down our physical and mental health. Every person in this room will spend the rest of their life balancing the school or work with their health. So finding a sustainable way to stay active now will shape how we feel for decades to come. So I grew up swimming competitively, and now I still swim like several times a week just to manage my own stress and my energy level. And in preparing this speech, I researched current health data on inactivity and its cause at every level of society and the benefit of swimming. So today I will persuade you that swimming is the exercise or sensory. Um, so first, I will examine like the governmental, social, and the individual cause behind our sensory crisis, and then I will explain why so many people avoid exercise altogether. And finally, I will show you how swimming often like the governmental, social, and individual solution that solve both of the problem as one. So let me examine where the sensory screen heavy crisis actually come from, because this problem was not created accident. It was produced and substance on three levels of society. Um, the the sedentary health crisis Americans face today is the product of root cause like the operating on the governmental, social, and individual level. It's just not simply a matter of personal laziness. On the governmental level, that decay of declining public investment have stripped community of like accessible places to be active. Since the number of public pool in the America has fallen from roughly 600,000 in 2009 to like about 300,000 today, according to the pool and hot tub at Lyson um, aliens live in many like neighborhoods, especially lower income ones, without nearby. So on the social level, an always work culture normalize the cognitive stress and activity and this show up physically and mentally. The Center for Disease and Control and Prevention report that more than 1 in 4 American adults get no leisure time for physical activity at all. So why 2005 25 workplace study from Mission Connection found that more than 45% employees regularly lose their temper at work, and now 65% has experienced intense workplace anger, and a pattern of research linked to chronic unmanaged stress. On the individual level, many people develop daily habit like extend screen time and regular to seek out movement that quietly reflect an activity, and this inactivity does not just affect or waistline. It raises our risk of heart disease, drain out our energy, and worsen our stress and anxiety, and making it harder to keep up with the demand of everyday life. Now that I will show where this problem comes from, next let me discuss why so many people struggle to become active in the first place. So people often avoid exercise because they see it uh, inconvenient, boring, or physical taxing. So they default to an activity instead of finding an exercise they can stick with. According to the center, for disease control and prevention. The most common personal barrier to exercise include insufficient time, inconvenient, and free of injury, all would push people away from starting like a routine at all. So many people also picture exercise as a high impact activity like running or like weightlifting, which can feel physically taxing or even risky their joint. So instead of adapting the activity, they avoid exercise altogether. So now that we understand both why this problem exists and why people avoid solving it, finally let examine the alert, like the solution that work on every one of those same three level. So swimming offer like a practical and sustainable solution to our crisis because it can be advanced through governmental, societal, and individual level action that directly answer that cause just this pride. On the governmental level, target public investment can reverse the decline in accessible like felicity. New York swim in, initiative, for example, recently announced 53 million in grant for public swimming felicity, with at least 25 million reserved for especially for underserved community, and the CDC Foundation, with the support from Palmer Philanthropy, has fund free and low cost swim program in 20 community nationwide. Um, on the social level, the building of culture with early swim education can close exciting gap in access. In the American Red Cross report that 79% of children in households earning less than 50,000 a year have a few or no swimming skill. So why the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics notes that formal swim lessons are like associated with 88% reduction in drowning risk for young children, and making swim education both safety issue and a lifelong fitness issue. Next, for the on the level, individual level, swimming is something any person can start immediately, and the evidence for doing so is strong because according to the Dr. Ted Hart of Wake Health, swimming provides strong cardiovascular benefit without placing stress on the joints because the buoyancy of the water support the body while resistance to build strength. A large study of commissions by Swim England and report by Cleveland Clinic found that regular swimmers have 41% lower risk of death from heart disease or stroke than non-swimmer, showing how the powerful this low impact activity can be. And according to the CDC, swim can also um, improve people move, and people consistently report enjoying water-based exercise more than exercise on the land, which directly adjust the social level stress and the death rate described earlier, and making it far easier to stick with that than a routine people find boring or deafening. Also, according to cardiovascular group researcher at the University of South Carolina, found that men who swim regularly has 50% lower death rate than those who walk, ran, or did not exercise at all. They can conclude the same benefit like would apply to women, and with an understanding of how swimming can transform our daily life at and at every level, let's begin to wrap up. First, I examine the governmental, societal, and the individual cause behind or sedentary screen heavy crisis, and then I discuss why so many people avoid exercise altogether. And finally, I show you how swimming answer both problems through the governmental, societal, and the individual level solution. And swimming is a low impact, full body solution that can restore our energy, protect our heart, and finally make consistent exercise something that we look forward to. So the next time, if you feel too tired, like too stressed, too short to do any exercise on the land, remember that the pool is not asking you to run faster or like lift heavier. It's just simply asking you to jump to the swimming pool. All right. Thank you for listening.